All right, my friends, welcome to another episode of Prof and Dev Play Games. It is episode 238. My name is Larry. I am a professor still, even though teaching remotely down in Southern California. And over there is Anthony, the dev. He's at Summer Peak. I'm at Prof Plays Games. How is the Easter weekend treating you?
Oh, fine. Feels like every day is very similar right now.
Oh my
Holiday
God,
or
totally.
not. I'm
Yeah.
like, what day is it? Time has no meaning.
It really doesn't. Every day is the same.
In a way, yeah. It's been a fine weekend. I mean, not sat around our house. We've been around our house. Kids did normal Easter things today. We watched a movie. Yesterday we did gardening outside. Nothing super special, but we have our giant garden and we're getting it back up into running and everything planted. So it's cool.
It must be so nice to go outside and not worry about neighbors.
None. I mean, I've actually seen both my neighbors this weekend, but we've all been like 15 feet apart.
Right. Like, hey, guys.
just talking to each other from like across our property lines.
Yeah. Smart.
But I also have a lot of space between my neighbors and my house, and I have a lot of lawn to be out on without being right up next to anybody.
It's so nice. It's just constant out with our daughter riding our scooters, getting her exercise. Is just like navigating people, and just there aren't a ton of people walking around, but there are some, and most of them stay away except for our immediate neighbors. So yeah, it's fun. This week we're going to talk about getting back to games we've put down, mainly because I finally got back to Horizon Zero Dawn and actually beat it. Which came out 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
So I started playing it when it launched and just beat it a couple days ago.
Yeah. Because I think we both had the same problem there with it. Because it is a game I came back to as well.
Right.
I didn't take a 3-year break, but I took like a 4-month break from it.
And when you come back to games that you've been away from for a while, do you restart or do you just keep trucking from where you were?
Depends. I almost always try to keep trekking from where I'm at, unless it's completely impossible for me to do that.
In terms of story or mechanics? Or
both. Unless story, because I can always just read again what happened, just find a guide or something.
Right.
Mechanics is one. Can I do things in the game where I still feel I'm being effective, where I relearn the controls. And the other thing is, can I figure out what I was actually doing?
Right. What was your quest? What was your goal?
If I can't actually figure out what I was doing, I'll probably restart. Unless I'm so far in the game and it's not worth doing.
Right.
Like Horizon, I probably wouldn't have restarted because I was a decent chunk in. I mean, we both stopped playing because of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Which in almost all ways is a superior open world game.
It's hard. Like when Horizon Zero Dawn came out, and we all knew obviously that Breath of the Wild was coming out. My friend Brad knew that I was going to drop Horizon Zero Dawn and play Breath of the Wild, and he implored me not to. He said it'll be there, just finish the game, and I think I would have missed out on the zeitgeist and like playing through with you. But I do understand the point of if I would have kept playing Horizon Zero Dawn, I think I would have had a better experience with it before playing Breath of the Wild, just because of the traversal.
Yeah, no, it makes a ton of sense. Yeah, I mean I get that, but I don't share the same philosophy on playing games. I play what interests me at the time.
Yeah,
I have no interest. I have no complete compulsion that I must finish the games that I start. It doesn't matter to me to finish it. If I finish a game, that just means it's a really good game that has compelled me to finish it. If I'm not feeling compelled to finish a game, then it's probably not a strong enough draw for me at that time. Maybe it's not the game, maybe it's me. Like you're revisiting God of War right now.
Yeah.
God of War is totally a game where I'm like, this is an incredible game. I'm just not in the right place in my life and my headspace to play this game.
All right.
It's just too much for me, and the thought of playing it just makes me tired.
Coming back to that, after I finished Horizon Zero Dawn, talking to Brad, he's like, you got to do God of War next. I know you put that one down. 'Cause I'm trying to push through games that I put down. And coming back to, I kind of felt some of the same things in terms of story and mechanics specifically, where I was like, where was I in the story? And I kind of sat there and tried to remember, going through the codex in the game and whatever else. And Brad texted me, he's like, why don't you just start over? Do you even know what you're doing? And I was like, sure, I'm the bald dude with his best friend delivering the ashes of their family pet to the top of the hill. He was like, fuck off. But the story, was fine for me. The mechanics, though, like, I had to sit down and look at the controls and go online and find a couple tutorials and be like, okay, that's how you do those certain powers. And like, there were a lot of things from mechanics that I was definitely missing. Like the enemies were flashing yellow. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And it's like, oh, that's the parry window for you to block their.
Yeah.
And once I kind of took some time out, I had like 15 minutes to relearn that through videos on YouTube or whatever. I was totally back up to speed. That's better for me to do that than to go back and redo. I think it was probably 3 or 4 hours of the game that I didn't want to redo.
Yeah, oh, it makes sense. It's revisiting old games it can be rough sometimes. Trying to think of the last one that I've fully revisited to finish. I kind of feel like I somewhat did that with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Like I played a bunch, stopped for a bit, played a bunch more. But there was gaps between my play.
Was that because of the DLC rollout, or you mean like the main game itself?
There was definitely the DLC rollout of being like the DLC rolled out, and I didn't play it until quite a bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also took gaps. I mean, I'd have to go back, and I took time between kind of like beating the main story and then finishing, like platinuming it. That definitely was time there.
Yeah.
And again, it was not because I disliked the game or anything. It was just like, I need a break. I need to do something else.
Right. It's kind of felt with
and I'm going to burn myself out of this game if I just power through it and just keep pushing.
That's how I felt with Frozen Wilds, because I have the DLC, and I was like, oh, I should play that. And it's like, nah, I think I'm done. It's a solid game. It's a good game. My favorite part about Horizon Zero Dawn is certainly the weapon variety and the machine variety. But I don't feel compelled to do the DLC right now.
No. I mean, actually, I did the beginning of the DLC. But I think that was a thing coming back, because that was a thing I didn't get till DLC till later. And I tried coming back to it, and I had forgotten all the controls.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember you talking about that.
And that game is so hard to play if you've forgotten the control mechanics.
Right.
Because those fights are so unforgiving.
Yep.
Even with basic machines.
They absolutely were. When I kept coming back to it, like at the regular difficulty, like I feel like I would have been okay plowing through from the beginning, but having taken a huge break and coming back several times, like it was exactly unforgiving. Yeah. So I kicked the difficulty down, so it made it a little easier. Because I was tired of restarting over and over again. Get good, whatever, but it was just not enjoyable.
Experience games however you want to experience them.
Yeah. I was going to put a TASBot on for me.
There you go. Hey, program your own TASBot to do it.
Yeah, there you go.
That'd be impressive.
Has that happened? The coronavirus done quick games thing? Did that already happen?
I have no clue.
I might have missed that. They were organizing a games done quick for coronavirus relief.
It might have. I know that there was some stuff on them on Twitch a bit ago.
I might have missed that. I was buy a t-shirt and I probably forgot.
No, it hasn't started.
Oh, really?
No, it's this coming Friday.
Heyo, awesome.
17th, 18th, and 19th. Corona relief done quick. They're looking for submissions. Submissions are closed at this point. That's not shocking.
19th, there we go. Yep.
Oh, and they're delaying Summer Games Done Quick.
Yeah.
Till August.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be delayed again.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Can't see that happening then either. Okay, cool. So I didn't miss it. Excellent. Yeah, I just back to the topic. Coming back to games that you've been away from for a while. the reason why I think I'm chasing newness or chasing like the conversation. Like I'd like to like jump into Final Fantasy when it comes on Tuesday so I can talk about it with you, but I don't want to bounce off of God of War again. I want to keep going with it. And I've just gotten into, I mean, obviously with our situation, like back into gaming, like it is such stress relief that I just melt into it and like everything else disappears. And it's just like, oh yeah, I picked up gaming at a very stressful time in my life back in 2013, and this is probably the reason why, because it helped melt that away. So it's been good.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, I've gotten somewhat away from trying to stay away from just chasing the completely new thing.
Mm-hmm.
I made sure to not have anything around Final Fantasy VII coming out.
Right, and also the industry helped too.
Persona 5 the Royal. Yeah, the industry helped with that. There's a part of me that's like, I could get Persona 5. Maybe eventually. That could be a summer game.
I heard they've quote unquote fixed some of the things that kind of drag the game in terms of the nighttime, like you have to go to bed, you can't go do things or whatever. So
there's a little bit more time to do things, and there's a lot of quality of life improvements throughout the game. And I'm like, okay, it sounds like enough that I want to play this again. But not right now. I've got other things to play. Maybe like June or July. I don't know if anything specific's coming out during that time. Supposedly Cyberpunk's still coming out in September.
Yeah.
Although they give a statement saying that they're basically done with the game, but they're just polishing now.
I saw that today, which means from now till September. So
polish doesn't mean you're done with the game. I'm going to say the last 10% of a game is like 90% of the time spent on it.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So I'm like, it sounds good from a press bite, but for a person who makes games, tracking down all those bugs for polish and fixing really weird bugs, those are the ones that you're like, oh, this will take a day to fix. It takes 2 weeks because just figuring out what's going wrong takes that amount of time.
And is it something about you go in, you figure it out, you fix it, you write the new code or whatever, and that new code causes new bugs?
I mean, that is a possibility. But anytime it's so far along, you put the fix in, and then it's like, okay, how much shit do we have to test now to make sure that actual bug fixes the bug that you said it was and didn't break everything else?
Right, exactly.
That's not a fast process. And the code bases are so huge at that point. Just tracking down why a bug happens, it's just immense sometimes. You'll spend more time tracking it down than you do changing the code.
Feels like so many moving systems that all interact.
Yep. At that point, it's a big ball mess of code. None of it's very clean at that point. You wish it was, but it's not, because things have changed so much. But yeah, I'm trying to think of the last game I really revisited.
After playing for a bit, putting it away,
coming
back.
Trying to think. I go back to games plenty.
Yeah, it's a little different though.
It is different.
God, I'm trying to think, because usually when you start something, you either don't finish it and don't come back, or you just finish it.
Yeah. Because I mean, if I want to finish it, I will finish it for the most part. Barring like the Horizon thing where Breath of the Wild came out and it's like, I need to play Breath of the Wild.
Right.
Like, sorry Horizon, you're a cool game, but you're not a Zelda I've been waiting for like 5 years at this point.
Man, and Horizon ended up being a pretty coherent, good story.
It did.
I must say for the record now.
It starts slow though.
It does.
I'll give it that. It takes a while before it all starts clicking into place. And once it does, though, it's really cool.
For me, it wasn't until you get to the holograms where you're hearing about from Elizabeth Sobek and everyone else about what Zero Dawn actually is. Like that's when I started to really care.
Yeah.
But I went back and looked at the quest logs, and I kind of have to have a caveat where I only did 3 side quests. I just mainlined that story and didn't do any side stuff, so I don't know if the side stories are super interesting.
Some of them are. They're not Witcher 3 quality side quests, but
Yeah.
some of them have add good like character to the world and nice side characters, but for the most part they're forgettable.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's a trophy for having all the allies at the end, like doing the defense of the spire. I had 3 allies, I think. I'm not sure how many there are.
I can't remember all of them, but I had them all because I platinumed it, so I got that.
Yeah, I did not get a trophy for that one, so I missed someone.
I think it's doing all the side quests for the side characters.
Yeah, which, after I beat it, it puts me back in the world before defending the spire, so I can go back and... I mean, let's be honest, folks, I'm not going to, but I could if I cared, but I'm not going to go back and collect all the shit to go for that platinum. Yeah,
you have to do that, and then you have to do all of the trials.
Oh, right. No.
And I thought those were... there was only like 2 where I felt like I wanted to break my controller.
Yeah.
But even then, I did all the trials, because I didn't do a single trial when I first went through the game. I just went back and did it. I did them all in like a single sitting in a day.
Oh, really? Oh, maybe I should go back and see.
There were some that were super frustrating, though. Like, shit. I'm not joking. I wanted to just rip my controller apart, a couple of them.
Maybe I don't need that in my life right now.
But I did it, and it was great to platinum it, and that's cool.
Yeah, I got that email from Sony saying, congratulations on beating Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm just thinking, like, I know this is automatic, but what if someone had to push the button and just be like, 3 years later you beat this game?
Yeah. It's impressive that they're still coming out, even 3 years later.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some sort of avatar for getting a platinum. I think you got some sort of profile picture or something for beating it.
Maybe.
Platinum,
I can't even remember anymore.
Yeah.
I think God of War has something if you platinum it.
That's also another game. Like I think it's any difficulty, but like doing all the Valkyries and like doing all the collecting, there's a shit ton, it seems like, in that game to collect, which is somehow like soothing right now. I don't know if it's like the same like Animal Crossing syndrome where like it's just soothing to collect shit. Man, Animal Crossing is everywhere on my wife's Twitter feed, so she keeps asking about it. It's so funny.
That is hilarious.
It is so funny. She's like, so what is this game?
You're like, I can't really explain it to you other than it's doing chores in a video game that you would normally do in real life.
Right.
But it's in a game and you're indebted to a raccoon.
I'd probably lose her at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom Nook.
The Nook clan.
I keep thinking about it. I'm like, no, I know I'm going to regret buying this game.
Yeah, I bet you would. I don't think this is your type of game for the most part.
I don't think so either.
It is kind of my type of game. I play it enough to make it worthwhile, but playing Final Fantasy now, I'm like, this is my type of game. So,
did you ever do classic mode by chance? Ever try it?
In the demo, I tried it. It's really easy.
Oh.
Because it's easy difficulty.
Oh yeah, right.
Which, god damn it, the Kotaku article came out. I don't know if you saw it. That was like, is Final Fantasy easy mode too easy? Which I'm like, come on, Kotaku. Like, you're the place that kept arguing that easy mode should exist.
Right. Play it your way.
And it's okay. Play it in your way. Why are you writing an article saying it's too easy? Like, if people want to play it on this and this is what they're comfortable, go for it.
Right.
Like, they're like, we can just cakewalk through everything. I'm like, that's why it's easy mode.
Right.
Like, they even say it's to experience the story, not get bogged down in combat. So there's part of me that's like, what? Okay, little whiplash there. Maybe. I'm sure it's different. Writers have different opinions.
That's exactly right. Like, Kotaku's not a monolith. They have different writers have different things to say.
But it was still funny. I was like, seriously? Like, it's too... I'm like, just let it be easy. It's okay. Like... If more people get to experience the story, that's great. Get to experience how they want it, go. Whatever.
That's what helped me get through Horizon. I just put on fucking the easiest mode. Like, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Difference between the easy and normal mode is too drastic. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's Fahey.
Yeah. And I think Classic is even easier because you don't... But that's the thing about it. I would say Classic is... It's on the easy mode, but it's also easier because you're not... It's not as stressful in the character management part of it. during combat, because you don't have to jump, don't have to be monitoring as much. We can get to that when we're talking about what we're playing. The only other piece of news I wanted to talk about this week is we got a controller picture.
Oh, god damn, that was this week. Dude, this week has felt like a year.
This week.
Oh my god.
Feels like months.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, we got a controller.
Oh, they changed that Kotaku article, by the way. They changed the headline. It was Final Fantasy VII Remake's easy mode is way too easy, and it changed. Yeah. They changed it to the difference between easy and normal is too drastic.
There you go.
And I guess they got some heat for that.
Yeah. Like, maybe that wasn't the best way to phrase that article. It was very clickbaity, though, originally.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
clicks.
Exactly what it wanted to be. Let's be honest.
I forgot about that fucking controller.
Yeah.
So the DualShock 5, the DualSense, the fucking
DualSense
PS5
which
controller.
Is actually pretty. The DualSense part is pretty cool. Like it's think of the Joy-Con's haptic response.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what's in here. Is haptic motors as the rumbles now. So you'll be able to feel a lot more, just as like the Joy-Cons have a much more fine-tuned rumbling and vibration.
Yeah. I like the idea that when you pull back on a bowstring or whatever, you kind of feel the tension and shit.
Yeah, the triggers will have pushback against you in some ways.
Right.
So like they'll get tighter depending on what you want to do.
Right.
So that stuff's cool. I mean, it looks like the hybrid of a 360 controller and a DualShock.
That's exactly what it looks like. It's like a bigger controller.
It is bigger. That is true. It is definitely bigger.
I saw the GIF comparison. No, it's like a half an inch deeper, or where the sticks are. There's more space there, which is fine. Like the Xbox controller is fine, but I really like how the PS4 controller fits. And didn't they say something that the PS4 controller will work with the PS5, or did they not say that?
I don't think they've said that.
I'm thinking of the Xbox then.
I don't know necessarily why it might not. Like, we'll find out eventually. But it has that. The stylings of it, it's the two-tone, the white and the black. I'm sure there'll be many color choices to choose from here. But this is the first peek into the design stylings of PS5.
That's true. If you think about some sort of juxtaposition between the controller and the box itself.
Yeah, I mean, so is the box itself going to have a little bit of white and black to it? Is it going to be Vita-esque in some ways? Because the controller reminded me of a little bit of Vita, like its button layout. Like the buttons don't have a bunch of color, and they kind of have like clear pads on top of the button icons. So it's like crystal a little bit. It just reminded me a little bit of like inspiration from the Vita.
Usually, because consoles drop with like one color, so to have two would be something striking. Yeah. And if they have several different color options, which would be fucking rad, like a blue-white or...
Oh, I'm sure they're going to have
blue-white.
Like, how many versions of the DualShock exist? DualShock 4 at this point exists.
Oh, so many colors. And now you can not only do single color, but also dual tone. Yeah. Like, you're going to sell so many controllers to people. I keep trying not to buy the purple controller. I already have 3 controllers. I don't need 4.
Yeah, I'm very curious. It's really funny to me that we've gone to almost a 360 controller. Like, almost the wings just fitting closer to a 360 stylings, and I guess the only difference really is that the sticks are still in the DualShock position.
Right, they're not offset.
Yeah.
I think people would riot.
Yeah, and then we have the not the share button anymore.
The create button.
Which is 3 lines, which have you seen the memes online where they're like, hey, it's the honk button from Goose Game.
Oh god, no, I haven't seen that.
Because the goose, when it honks, has 3 lines that come out of it.
Oh jeez. It's not like the hamburger icon like on the Xbox or anything like that?
The hamburger is on the other side of the controller.
Got it.
The hamburger is the options now. So you got the hamburger, although someone is like, they want to call, that one's called the burger, and then the one on the new create icon is the fries.
Oh, Jesus.
I know. Because they don't have names. They're just icons on top of them, as opposed to the like DualShock that actually says, I think, options and share actually has the text there. Which actually makes me wonder if that they wanted to get rid of text, because do they have to localize that?
I would assume so. I would
Do
assume
they sell different controllers in different countries that instead of saying share there, it has whatever the local...
Well, let's find out. DualShock 4.
I'm curious.
Japanese version. Well, that's not what I want. That's an adapter. Boy, I assume so. Let's see here. Can I zoom in on that picture? Nope, that says share. There's a Japan option here that says share and options on it.
Maybe they don't.
Huh.
They're like, we're sorry you're in another country and don't know English, but look at the glyphs up top.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. It's pretty cool though, and I do think that seeing this controller, I am expecting that the actual PS5 console has some two-tone going on.
That would be cool. I didn't even think about that.
I really do. Because why would you make a controller two-tone like this if it doesn't fit into the aesthetic themes of the PS5 hardware?
Right, it would have to. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't think about that. I'm down with that. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Who did I listen? Digital Foundry was talking about. They're like, oh, it looks different, and it fits with like things that Cerny has said about he is still a big proponent of console generations, and he wants generations to feel generationally different. Like you can look at the hardware and be like, this is the next generation, just from looking at the hardware, because it doesn't look like the previous generation. And if you put that to all of PlayStations, they all drastically look different from another. Right. Be it the PS1 gray to the 2 to the wing of the 3 to the 4 now. So I don't know. I think there's going to be a little bit of a slightly radical design to it. I still expect it to look a lot more like a console than say that the Series X looks like.
Yeah, that weird cube.
Oh god, seeing that thing next to a current Xbox One, it's so weird. It's huge.
Is it really? I haven't seen it for scale.
I mean, it's not
against anything.
Oh god, yeah. Because the people have put them up next to each other now. Compare, and it's huge in a different way, because it's not as deep, of course, because it's not as long. But is that the picture? Yeah. There we go. That's one on Polygon has the first picture down in the article has an Xbox One X and an Xbox Series X on left and right, and you can get a sense of the cube.
That's the ones that are just pushed right next to each other.
Yep.
Wow.
It's a cube.
Right. It's basically the same height though.
Same height. So I mean, length or height or whatever you want to consider it. I don't
exactly.
know how it's supposed to sit.
Straight up and down.
I guess so.
Because the vent's on top, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, it could set it to the side, I bet.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, be on the side.
If you could find a place to fit it.
Right, because of the way that entertainment center's
not going to fit that thing.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm like, God, it's like 3 Xbox One X's wide.
Yeah, because the volume is bigger than the old one. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of a beast. I figure they do it because of cooling. They need to have much more space for cooling and everything.
Yeah, right.
But
well, as
still,
long as, don't make my fucking next PlayStation sound like a fucking jet engine every time I turn on fucking Horizon or God of War.
That's the one thing Cerny has talked about in that GDC presentation, because they weren't showing their thermals for the PS5, but he did reference that the PS4 was way too loud, and they've heard that, and they want to deal with that.
Thank God. I mean, first world problem for sure, but goddamn, the thing is loud.
Oh, I know. I'm playing Final Fantasy VII, and yeah, my PlayStation is gonna like rocket into the atmosphere.
Right. Every time I turn on a fucking NetherRealm Studios game, Injustice 2 or Mortal Kombat 11, it is the loudest it ever is when it plays those games.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's so loud. My wife's like, "What the hell is that noise?"
Like it's this thing trying not to overheat.
Yeah. It's a good thing that it's sounding like that, but geez.
Yeah. But
it also sounds like that.
I guess we can get into what we've been playing. You beat Horizon, and I'm playing God of War.
Horizon. Let me go first. Beat Horizon. I on a whim bought fucking Just Dance 2020 for my Switch. So I was like, oh, this would be good for my wife when I get exercise. Nope. It is my daughter's favorite game now.
That's awesome.
Holds the Joy-Con and just like there's a kids section now. So there's kids songs like Baby Shark and like a Jungle Dance, and there's just a bunch of kids songs, and she fucking loves it. She's just dancing and falling, kind of following what they're doing, just spinning around, jumping. So get our screen game time, but also exercise, which is great. Got Diablo 3 on the Switch, and oh my god, I mean it's just, you already know, but man, it's just like you melt into that game. Like this is perfect. Just pick up a little bit of hack and slash, do your thing, and get some new loot, put it back down. It feels so good. And then God of War is the current big game that I'm playing. That game is just fucking beautiful. I like how it's open worldish, but also kind of on rails a little bit.
Yeah.
Just wide on rails or wide rails or whatever the hell it's called. But I really, the combat is so fun in that game. Once I once I pulled up the tutorials and was like, oh yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It's super, super deep and engaging. And then the collectathon part of it is actually like really like sickly soothing to me right now. So I'm enjoying it. And that's what I've been playing.
There you go. So beating Horizon, you made it through that. You've liked generally the story in the end.
I did. I really
which was after credits? Silas and Hades.
Silence. Yep.
Yeah, where he's captured Hades again.
And does that? I don't think that feeds into.
No, Frozen Wilds.
No. Yeah. Exactly.
It's not. Like I assume that's set up for a sequel.
Yeah.
And you still don't know exactly what Silence wants, other than
knowledge
of the past, and
it's like who sent the signal to ignite Hades, basically.
Yeah. He's trying to discover.
What's
been going on in the past, and clearly, like I said, he's not a straight up villain, but he's definitely morally grayish, dark.
The thing that I don't like is that you beat Hades in this game or whatever, and then Hades is, I hope, not the villain again, quote unquote villain, because I don't know.
I'd have a hard time seeing if it was Hades again.
Yeah, I hope not.
I honestly think it's probably going to be something to do with Silence. Even if it's not straight villainous, that what you're doing and what he's doing are just going to come into conflict, like straight up conflict. But yep, you get that. You get where Aloy goes to Elizabeth, finds her body, basically.
Yep.
Which was a nice conclusion to that whole storyline.
Yeah, I like that a lot. She basically was like outside her house on a bench or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the last third of the story was really cool, and I think obviously a lot of the story is buried in the text and stuff that you find. My problem is that I sit so far away from the TV that it's really hard to read that unless I zoom in, and then I'm zooming in trying to read and adjust using the accessibility options, and it's just like, nah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of world story in those texts, but
exactly.
If you just do listen to like the audio logs and then just what the main story tells you, you'll still get almost everything.
Yeah.
The text is just little details here and there. Because I think even in the main audio log, it makes it pretty clear that this wasn't the first time that Guy had tried to create life.
Right. No, it wasn't.
Like there's already been other failed chunks of life. So it also pushes out how far in the future are we actually? Because it could be pretty damn far. at this point.
Well, they said it was, when I was going back and reading the story afterwards, it said something like it was a 31st century.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a while. And
yeah. So maybe a couple reboots.
Yeah, there's been some, which was also, that's the thing with the story is like, it all starts making sense, and it's also incredibly fucking dark. Holy
shit. It really is. Yeah, it's not a happy story.
But in the end, I was pretty happy with that story. Felt like included well. Grew to like Aloy as a character quite a bit.
Yeah, I liked her quite a bit. And thinking of her as like the, clone basically of Elizabeth Sobek is pretty interesting.
Yeah. So that, I'm happy you finished it. It's good to see, and then hopefully they'll announce the sequel soon.
Yeah, I think I would be in for the sequel for sure, based on the strength of the ending.
Yeah.
I'm going to commit now that when I start it, I'm not going to stop until I finish it, so it doesn't turn into a 3-year odyssey again.
If we're thinking of this as like getting a sequel now, I think the first game, like you said, is strong in the last third. It ends strong.
Yeah, it really
but it
does.
definitely is a first act of maybe a bigger story.
Yeah.
Because it's much more of just like world introduction more than anything. And only in that last third does it drive the world. Does the character story and the world story really start to intersect in a pretty compelling way? So that's why I'm excited for a sequel, because I think now that they've got this kind of worlds laid out, curious where they're going to go with it, and I'm happy the game was successful that they're going to get a sequel. So, because it was really successful for Sony.
Yeah. I mean, it
and
absolutely
Guerrilla.
deserves it.
Guerrilla finally gets to do something not Killzone.
Wasn't the leader of for sure. Wasn't the leader of Herman whatever now in charge of like Sony Europe, or not Sony Europe, but some big thing, the game studio or whatever.
Yes, he is.
So that definitely propelled him.
It did. So for me, I can briefly say, after you shipped me pictures of Diablo 3 on Switch, I played some Diablo 3 on Switch.
Nice.
Which is also tied together with me playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I have been playing that. My slight aside to it is, in Final Fantasy VII, at the beginning, there's the Avalanche characters. There's Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge.
Yeah.
Biggs and Wedge being Star Wars references. But Biggs, the voice actor for Biggs, is Gideon Emery, who is the voice actor of Balthier in Final Fantasy XII, who is also the voice actor for the male Crusader in Diablo 3.
Oh.
And I was like, I got to hear this, because I've never played a male Crusader. And I played it, and I'm like, oh my god, I can just play as male Crusader, and it sounds like Balthier the entire time.
Oh, that's funny.
Amazing. I love that voice actor. And he doesn't do a ton. He's not a voice actor you get to do like tonally different voices.
Yeah.
You get it because it's he's very good of expressive voice actor, but he doesn't do different voices.
He just does the one voice for any
He
character.
does his voice.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, I love your voice. It's awesome. So I played. I beat the Skeleton King with a Crusader, and then I just jumped to adventure mode, just doing bounties and everything.
For some reason, I know from the Switch version you just jump right in and can just do adventure mode from the start.
Yeah.
But I must have missed it. It just threw me right into the story. So
you have to go into game settings before loading the game, and you can say, what do you want to do? Do you want to do campaign, adventure? And I think there's another option.
I think I'll probably go through the Skeleton King too.
No matter what, anytime there's a new league, if you're doing a seasonal hero, you always want to play to the Skeleton King, because he always guarantees drops Leoric's Broken Crown.
Oh yeah,
which is a crown that you actually want for leveling. You'll probably keep that crown on until very, very late in your leveling.
Does it add that experience bonus?
Yeah. Has an experience bonus, and it amplifies gems in it. So you can put the gem in it that gives you experience bonus, and I think the crown gives like gems socketed into it 20% better, and boost them by 20%. You can do a bunch with it. It's just one of those common things. It's like, oh, new season started, start a character, beat Skeleton King. Now go do everything else you want to do.
Cool.
So yeah, and it doesn't take that long to beat the Skeleton King.
No, not at all. I'm already 2/3 of the way there by the time I turned it off after like an hour or 45 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, ton of fun on the Switch. It's so good to pick up and put down.
Oh god, totally.
But so did a little of that while I was waiting for FF7 Remake to get to me, which got to me on Saturday. And it got here, and I had a bunch just chores and things I had to do on Saturday, but it got here. The Deluxe Edition, which is not the stupidly bigger one that has the bike and the action figure. Mine just has a steelbook case, a soundtrack, and an art book.
That motorcycle looks pretty cool, though. I think Brad cool. Shared it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it looks really cool. I don't need toys. I already have enough, and that's just not. I'm like, I don't know what I would do with this thing, honestly.
Yeah.
I want the game more than anything.
Right.
But it comes on 2 Blu-rays. It's the first game I've ever had that.
Oh, is it really 2 discs?
It's 2 discs. It's 2 Blu-rays. It's 100 gigabytes.
Dang. Okay.
So you better make sure you have space on your drive.
I was gonna say I gotta clear more space out of my frickin'.
It's 100 gigabytes. And the 2 discs. One is an install disc, and then the other disc is a play disc.
Oh, okay. Kind of like Red Dead.
The install took just over an hour from disc.
Wow.
There was no day one patch. I didn't actually have to like patch it after the fact, but still, this was quite the process. It was like I had been warned that it was going to take a while by a couple friends, and I was like, okay. So I just made sure it ran while I was doing all my other chores and everything. And just because of everything going on, I didn't actually get to sit down and really start playing it until I guess it was before making dinner yesterday. I got to play for like half an hour or so, and I made it right up to not yesterday, Saturday, right up to before fighting the first boss. And then I saved, and then I went back and played that again. You can play it in the demo. Played that boss and wrecked that boss this time.
Nice.
And then really just started getting into the meat of the game afterwards. And now I'm 8.5 hours into the game. As of today, I played a bunch today. My kids got to watch and they loved it. And it's amazing. Holy crap, this game is so amazing.
I read a few things about the inconsistency of the graphics.
It's weird. It is. So there are times it's still a beautiful game, but there's random times when you're like, what's this low res texture doing here?
Right. That's what I heard.
And you're
that's
like,
what I read.
What? This is so random, like a random door that's just super low res texture. And it's super obvious. And I mean, I'm 100% sure it's how they actually fit into memory in the PS4.
Huh.
Like, they just can't have everything at high res textures.
Right.
That high res. Like, they cannot fit into the memory footprint. So they just sacrifice some of them. We'll see what happens on PS5 and PC when it comes out, because I doubt that issue will be there.
Do you think it's something that's going to be fixed with a patch, though?
Not on the PS4. I think they're just at the capacity of the PS4. You don't have more memory in the system. Yeah. You can only have so much textures sitting in the video RAM. You only have so much space.
Thought you have some sort of patch to use it more efficiently.
Probably not.
Okay.
That's as good as they get. I mean, maybe they'll figure out how to patch it and figure something out, but...
Because I was thinking, like, I don't really get to too many games right when they launch, even if I buy them when they launch. I kind of wait, so then waiting for a patch might be beneficial to me, but maybe not. Yeah.
It doesn't really detract from the game for me. Yeah. Like I said, it's just a random door here and there, and you're like, huh, whatever.
Yeah.
Because because it only stands out because everything else is super high res texture. Like when you compare the character model to that door, you're like, what the hell happened?
What is that?
Yeah, why is that all muddy? Like the character's not muddy. The wall next to the door is not muddy. Like I don't know. But yeah, that is the only inconsistency. It's just sometimes there's random things with low res textures. Beyond that, haven't had a single frame rate drop. Like it's rock solid on the PS4 base model. At least it's 30 frames per second locked. Like I have not noticed any slowdown at any time, even with thousands of particles going off all over the place. The loading between like cutscene and game and back to cutscene is so butter smooth. Like you can't even tell whenever it's switching between cutscene and game a lot of times. Just is. Camera tracks are great into that stuff. And the story, how they're expanding on it is really cool.
Are they pulling in minor characters and fleshing them out? Oh, that's cool.
Jesse and Biggs and Wedge. Mm-hmm. Oh, these are characters I'm actually going to care about. How much did FF7 did you actually play?
All the way through Midgar. I got to the part.
Okay, so you've gotten where the plate collapses. Yeah, I'm going to miss these characters. Because they all die, except Wedge, I think. Wedge doesn't die. But I'm like, oh god. In original, back in 97, like, Jessie, she says, like, one flirtatious line to Cloud, and then 4 hours later, she's dead of gameplay.
Right.
And this one, I'm like, oh, you fleshed her completely out. And where everyone's like, oh, are you Team Eris or Team Tifa? I'm like, no, I'm Team Jessie. Oh, shit. They're just going to squash her. It's really cool. It's actually crazy that there's, like, building a lot of story into these characters. Like, you get to know them quite well. I mean, I'm 8.5 hours in. I haven't even got to the point. I've met Eris as the flower girl briefly, but I haven't actually got to the point where you meet her again, like in the church and everything. Like I'm close, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah, because I said this is like a 30-hour game, right?
30 to 40, depending on. I've done every side thing so far, so it's probably going to be closer to 40 for me. Because there's a bunch of side missions. They're not crazy big or anything. It's like explore the slums a bit more, fight some more monsters. But yeah, it's fleshing out all the side stuff. It's doing a ton of foreshadowing for future story events. If you've played through the whole thing, the way that they're putting pieces of the story together and pulling stuff forward a little bit of like Cloud and Tifa's story. Like stuff that you wouldn't be seeing typically in the Midgard story. They're pulling stuff in, like, and so, but it foreshadows a lot more of the actual storyline of 7. So that's it's interesting how they're doing that, and I think it will be good in the end. Like the storytelling just feels a lot stronger.
I've heard in certain reviews like something about the ending.
Oh, I have no clue.
Okay, well, I'm gonna stop there then. I'm interested to hear what you think when you get there.
I haven't read anything on how this is gonna end. They've introduced some new characters, which I'm curious about. I know it pulls in stuff from Crisis Core. I believe that was the FF7 spin-off game. It was kind of like a prequel to FF7. They pull in aspects of that storyline and more flesh it into 7's storyline. But beyond that, like, it's beautiful. It has some just crazy cool set pieces, and I'm loving the combat. I'm playing it on normal, and now that I get it, oh my god, I'm having a blast. It's Final Fantasy XV's combat, but with much more tactics going on, and you can control every character. It's like a mix of 12 and 15.
Except like 12 is like the gambit system where it kind of does it automatically.
You just don't get the gambits though. But you could always 12 also had the thing of like everything's moving and attacking, but you can pause at any time to do special attacks and basically say, hey, do this instead. It's active with pause, and this is basically that. You just don't have the gambits. The characters will just kind of defend and block while you're not controlling them, but you want to jump between characters, have your characters doing different abilities, and whenever you synchronize it all together at the same time, it feels amazing, and you can just wreck things. So yeah, the
nice power fantasy.
There's a good skill ceiling to it though. Like it's not just a walk in the park of like, oh yeah, I just fight this thing. Like, nope. Even like low level guys, you have to be at least somewhat careful on how you do it. And then bosses are just kind of actually insane. They take a lot of team coordination, and jumping between characters and using all the different special abilities. And yeah, each character has special abilities that feel really good. The materia system is still there, and it's the materia system from 7. So all that stuff is still there, and you're slotting materia into weapons and gear and equipping characters out that way. What new? They have a new mechanic. Weapons level up now.
Oh.
Characters level up, but your weapons level up. And as you level up weapons, you get skill point. They just call it SP, but you get points you can spend in the weapon to unlock special perks for that weapon. And there's a lot, like more attack if you have it equipped, more HP, like passive stuff for your character, but then other things that are more materia slots on the weapon, linked materia slots, tons and tons of stuff. And like the weapons just level up and get all these new bonuses and benefits, which one of the key things is it doesn't straight up negate earlier weapons. So like Cloud's Buster Sword, I'm pretty sure I could play the entire game with the Buster Sword, no issues if I wanted to. But it focuses on like its upgrades are, I don't even know, but each weapon kind of is more of a side grade and does a different role more than anything. So like Barrett, I just got a machine gun for Barrett that is very clearly like, hey, if you want to make Barrett the tank, use this machine gun.
Huh, that's cool.
Because all of its bonuses are defense and HP and things like that.
Right. Well, that's like another level to the strategy of the...
Yeah, so you can actually do character builds, it feels like.
That's so cool. That kind of makes it eminently replayable, it seems like. Play every build.
Yeah. And you're free. There's a person in the game you can talk to that reset your weapon upgrades. So if you want to spin them differently.
In case you get to a boss, something that you're just fucked on.
Yeah, fucked on, or if you just want to straight up change your build.
Yeah.
You're not locked into anything.
Right.
I think it's just a really smart remake of the game. Like, it is the Final Fantasy VII I remember. In more ways than I was expecting, but it is radically different. And they're walking that line pretty well of being like, this is new, but touches that nostalgia of what you remember. And I feel like the stuff added is good. Like it actually elevates the story.
Something about like re-experiencing a classic in the way that you experienced it in the first place, where it's like still new.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they do it, and I can't wait to play more of it.
Maybe we should end the podcast so you can get there then.
Soon, yeah, because I'm staring at my PS4, which I moved into my office.
Your fingers are twitching.
Hook it up to my monitor and just play in here.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I don't know how it ends. I don't know how crazy it's going to get. But it's an experience, and there's something about the fact that I'm like 8.5 hours in, and normally 8.5 hours in the original Final Fantasy VII, I'd already be done with Midgar.
Right.
And I'm 8.5 hours in, and I'm like a third of the way done with Midgard.
Right. That's really cool how they're filling out the story.
Yeah, and
in a way that's not just filler.
Yeah, I was worried it was just going to feel like padded, but it doesn't feel padded at all. It just feels natural that you would spend this time here. and just, I don't know, it just feels like the natural progression of the story. If done right, if things aren't moving at breakneck speed, it's like, oh, of course you have downtime. What are you going to do in your downtime? You're going to go talk with Tifa for a while. She's going to walk you around the slums. You're going to fight some stuff and like get to know people.
Do you think the draw of the game is such that you'll probably have it finished by the next podcast? Given timing.
I don't know. Yeah, if I have enough time, I will. I just don't know if I'll have enough time.
Right.
It's still pretty hard for me to get. I'd probably have to say not at least, 25 to 30 more hours in the next.
Oh yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
And I don't know. Maybe it will. You put a couple hours in each night. Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out next week if I'm there or not.
Yeah, it's I understand. I get like usually 10 to 11 at night is my gaming time.
Yeah, I get more than that, but
yeah,
I usually get 2-ish hours in. Working from home helps because I can go to sleep later.
Well, that's why I've started gaming again, because I work from home now, so I'm able to stay up a little later, and it doesn't really affect me in terms of sleepiness.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I'm going to be very curious if you continue with God of War, where you get through.
Yeah, I'm gonna when we finish this podcast tonight, I'm gonna boot it back up and probably play till 11.
Nice.
I'm gonna try to get an hour a night, but man, I fucking loved it. I really, something about it this time just grabbed me, so
yeah,
I'm gonna keep going. All right, my friends, this was episode 238 of Prof and Dev Play Games. He is the Dev, I am the Prof, and we are here usually every Monday, unless some weird shit happens on Sunday nights. Happy Easter if you celebrate, Christos Voskres if you speak Ukrainian, and we will see you again next week.
All right. Later, everyone.
See you.